Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host Owen James, the channel that brings you all your latest Rangers FC news. Well, it is New Year's Eve. We are on the verge of exiting what has been another, yet another very disappointing year for Rangers. 2024, I think the only positive obviously is the League Cup victory. I'm struggling to think of any others. It's been a bad year. It has not been a great year for Rangers. It has been a very, very poor year for Rangers, and you can but hope that 2025 somehow will turn round and get better. Quite how that happens, I don't know. Maybe a run to the Europa League final, maybe a Scottish Cup victory. Maybe Celtic fall apart completely, don't win another game between now and the end of the season, get relegated, and we win the league. I know I've not been drinking because I don't drink anymore. So, at the end of the day, look, 2024 has been genuinely poor. We're going to go live tonight. We're going to have the New Year's Eve pod tonight, guys. So come and join us. Bring your drinks. Come and get involved. We're going to talk all things Rangers. We're going to talk for as long as possible. Maybe even go all the way to midnight from 9 o'clock. Maybe have a 3 hour pod. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. Bring your drinks. Let's talk Rangers. Let's talk 2024. Let's talk 2025. Let's talk Old Firm. Let's talk everything. But today on this video, let's talk some bits and pieces of news going around. We're going to talk about a possible exit for Ridvan Yilmaz. We're going to talk how a particular French club have really made me sad tonight. We're also going to talk a little bit about the centre-back crisis currently at the club and what needs to be done to address that. And a few little general bits of news. Start off with the news that Rangers have appointed a new chief communications director. Obviously we've had a major changeover, haven't we? The appointment of Patrick Stewart, the appointment of Fraser Thornton, Kareem Varane, who did a really good job in marketing and comms. He's gone now, but we are appointing a new person. Now he won't start until April, so near the end of the season. He's currently at Brentford, where he is working to the end of his contract. And obviously Brentford are a very successful Premier League club. Their comms is good. Their social media is good. A lot of what they do is very, very good. Brentford have been a club that have, really risen through the English divisions and got themselves now to be an established Premier League club. And, fair play to them in a already overcrowded city of the London where there are so many teams. Various experience in comms includes he had time at Manchester United where he was corporate communications director from 2019 to 2021, obviously going through the COVID period, which was obviously a tough time for everyone. So he's got big club experience. It looks like a decent appointment. Again, it's just putting in place the people at the top of the club, and I think we can all kind of get that we do need to get the top of this club right. There is a lot of issues at the top of this club, and Greg Mailer been appointed along with obviously Patrick Stewart, along with Fraser Thornton. It's just a sign of trying to bring in people who will change the direction the club is going in it and get this club finally moving into the 21st century. It's been stuck in the 18th century, I think, for the last God knows how long. And people who have zero football knowledge, trying to run the club, the likes of the Park family, the likes of John Bennett, the likes of Dave King, a lot of people who genuinely have no football knowledge. And now it's nice to be getting these non-execs in, these exec directors, people who have genuine experience. So, a good appointment overall. I don't know a great deal about him, but he's worked at Man United, he's worked at Brentford, he's worked in the Premier League. He brings that experience up to Scotland. That has got to be a positive thing. Now, look, one thing I'll do is I will always back my club. I'll always support my club because I love my club. But one thing I will do is call them out when they don't do the right thing. I'm not a happy clapper. I'm not going to sit here and happy clap decisions and, like some fans, just back everything, no matter how awful it is, no matter how rubbish it is. Some fans, you just won't criticise the club under any circumstances. They literally would clap. I think they'd actually clap them putting the club into administration or clap them folding the club into non-existence. I think that is genuinely how dumb some fans are. But this statement today from Rangers is absolutely tone deaf from the club, especially at this moment in time. When I read it, I actually thought it was a joke. I actually thought it was AI or quote Donald Trump, fake news. Fake news, guys. It's fake news. But this is genuinely a Rangers statement. Rangers are delighted to welcome Celtic to Ibrox Stadium on Thursday, the 2nd of January. I mean, what, why, how? It's one of those where you just sit and you literally read that and you go, why, what, how, what, bang. Celtic are our bitter rivals. We hate Celtic. The fans hate Celtic. Guys, Rangers, comms team, social media team, website team, board. Let me a little message for you. Here's a little message for you guys. And you probably don't watch, but there's a little message for you. As fans, we hate Celtic. We despise everything about them. There is nothing positive about that club. There is nothing we like about that club. Why would we be delighted to welcome them to Ibrox? Why would you write that on a website that you are delighted to welcome our biggest rivals, the team we hate with a passion, to Ibrox? I mean, we don't welcome them. We're not delighted. We fucking hate them. You know, you could quite easily just write, Rangers will welcome, or Rangers will play Celtic on Thursday the 2nd of January at Ibrox. Rangers are... Next up for Rangers is Celtic, who come to Ibrox on the 2nd of January. All more acceptable than we are delighted to welcome. No, we aren't. No, we're not. We're not delighted to welcome them. Rangers board, Rangers social media, Rangers website team, Rangers marketing team. We are not delighted to welcome Celtic. Get that into your thick heads, please. Wow. I mean, just genuinely, wow. Wow. Right, let's have a little look at some transfer news that is currently on the go. And one of this bits of transfer news kind of makes sense. One of them makes me really sad, really upset me when I read it. It actually ruined my day yesterday. Trabzonspor reportedly make contact with Rangers over left back Ridvan Yilmaz, 23, but St Etienne boss Eric Hornland distances himself from a move for Ibrox forward Cyril Dessers, 30. I've got to say that second part of that paragraph ruined my day yesterday. I really had high hopes that St Etienne would take that useless bag of shite out of our club once and for all and get rid of him, and we could no longer have to see Cyril Dessers in a Rangers shirt ever again. And it can't come soon enough. A forward who can't hold the ball up, a forward who doesn't score at crucial times, a forward who spends most of the time on his arse moaning, a forward that doesn't understand the offside rule, a forward whose movement is awful. One of the worst centre forwards ever to play for Rangers. Are we going to be stuck with him? Are we really going to be stuck with that absolute useless bag of shite? Probably. But the top piece of news, Trabzonspor. Now, we know that Turkish clubs, Trabzon, Besiktas, Gala, Fenerbahce, have all showed a lot of interest in Ridvan Yilmaz. Look, I mean, I'm going to be open and honest here. I like Ridvan Yilmaz. I think he's a very good footballer. I think he is a very talented player. I think, the fact that he's played for the Turkish national team, the fact that, that he's got umpteen caps, the fact that he's done well for us when he's been fit, the fact that he looks a quality player going forward, he looks a quality player defending when he's fit, tells a story. He's a good footballer. I like Ridvan. There's a lot to like about Ridvan. However, Ridvan has one major drawback, and that is his availability. The fact that he is constantly getting injured. Ridvan's injury record at Rangers is absolutely appalling. And the amount of games that this man has missed is just a little bit of a joke now. If you look at his injury history for a moment, and you look at the amount of time that he has missed and the amount of games he has missed whilst he's been at Rangers. In 24-25, this season, he has already missed 27 games. He's missed 139 days of the season, 27 games, okay? So he's missed 27 games this season. Last season, he missed 6 games and 8 games with a hamstring injury and a strain of some description. Okay, so we'll do a little totting up process as we go through. So 27 games, 6 games and 8 games. Okay, then in 22-23, when he first came to the club, he had a hamstring injury and he missed 24 games. So in total, in his time at Rangers, he has missed 65 games. 65. That's a substantial number of games that he has missed, okay, across the seasons that he's been with the club. Okay, so that's 65 games. That's a hell of a lot of football games that Ridvan Yilmaz has missed for Rangers. Now, if we look at the basis that Ridvan, has obviously not been here very long, and has missed this amount of time and this amount of games, he's not really provided value for money. And they often talk, don't you? The best ability is your availability. I mean, that's what a lot of people say. Your best ability is your availability. Now, if we work on the basis, excuse me, that Ridvan Yilmaz, has been at this club now and has played 60 games. So he's actually missed more games than he's actually played. Okay? So he's missed 65, he's played 60, right? He's been here, for about 4 seasons now, for example. So, if we divide that by 4, let's say he averages 17 games a season, roughly, but he misses 17 games a season. Now, I don't know about you, but paying someone several £1,000s a week who misses that amount of games is a worry. It's a concern. Now, like I said to you, I like Ridvan Yilmaz. I think he's a good footballer. But his injury history is an absolute joke. He misses too much football for me. Now, for example, if Trabzon or Fener or Gala or Besiktas come in and they're willing to offer us between £4 and £6 million for this player, I say we take it. We take the money and we run. And we don't sell Robbie Fraser to Portsmouth. We keep him as the backup to Hjefte. Look, I get that Ridvan is a better player than Robbie Fraser because, I say that because Robbie Fraser hasn't had a fair crack at the whip. I don't think Robbie Fraser has had a fair crack at the whip at the club. I don't think he has. Like most of our young players, like, Leon King, like Clinton Ciala, like Bailey Rice, Cole McKinnon, Zach Lovelace. When we talked about this on the podcast yesterday, the young players haven't had a fair crack at the whip. That's just a fact. And I don't think Robbie Fraser has. But if we can get between 4 and 6 million for Ridvan Yilmaz in the January transfer window, that is money that can go back into the squad. That's money that can be reinvested. That's money that we can use to possibly bring in a couple of players and strengthen the squad, which is something we badly need to do. We need a 6 to back up Raskin. We need a winger. We need a centre back. We need a right back. We need a striker. There's a number of positions we need to address. Now, realistically, are we going to sign 4 or 5 players in the transfer window? No, I don't think we are. 2, maybe 3 maximum. But, we're not going to get 5, 6 of them. It's not going to happen. So, but if we can raise 4 to 6 million for Ridvan and then reinvest that into squad development and building the squad up, I think that would be a very good move, especially for a player that's missed 65 games and only played 60. A guy who's missed more games than he's played. A guy who averages 16 to 17 games a season missed. It's a big, big chunk of the season. So for me, this would be a good move for the club. Like, I know he's a good player. I know he's a fine footballer, but he just misses too much time for me. And it's another Ryan Jack. It's another Kemar Roof. It's another Rabbi Matondo, just constantly injured. And we've got to get away from, this sentimentality of keeping these always injured players. These players who persistently every season are missing massive numbers of games. It just can't go on. And like I said, I've got nothing against Ridvan. I think he's a good player, but you cannot keep hold of injury-prone players who are sat in the stand for large chunks of the season, earning and tying up a substantial amount of your wages. It's bad business. It's bad football. It's bad football club management. It's just poor. So for me, if we can get the money, take it and run. I am still gutted that Cyril Dessers might not be leaving. I would sell him for a bag of Revels. Right, now, at this moment in time, Rangers have got what I would describe as a centre-back crisis. They really have got a centre-back crisis. Now, going into the season, obviously Connor Goldson left and we replaced him with Robin Propper. And we all had very high hopes for Robin Propper. We did, obviously. You looked at the centre backs and it was pretty much a rotation of the 3, Suter, Balogun and Propper. Suter and Balogun sometimes, who I think are our best 2 centre backs. Propper coming in. Propper, let's be open and honest on this. Robin Propper is not a footballer that can play in Scotland. He is a disaster. He is an absolute bomb scare. He makes Ben Davies look world class. That's how bad he is. He wants too much time on the ball. His positioning is bad. He gets run off. He loses focus during games. You know, he loses his man way too often. He doesn't play to the whistle, which is a schoolboy error. You know, he is just an all-round bad footballer who has not settled in Glasgow, has not settled in the Rangers team, and just looks a very bad footballer. You know, but unfortunately, at this moment in time, we are going to be probably going into the Old Firm game with him and Sterling as our centre back pairing, and Kyogo and company must be absolutely licking their lips with this one. They must be absolutely rubbing their hands together and thinking, "Let us at them, let us at them." We're going to have a field day. But the problem we've got, realistically, is we are going to be without our best two centre backs. We are going to be without John Souttar, who has arguably been the best player this season. You know, one of the best players this season. Been brilliant for Scotland, brilliant for Rangers. You know, deserves a new contract, top player. We lost him in the Spurs game. I think there's somewhere to zero chance that he's going to be back for the Old Firm game. So we're obviously going to be missing him. And I think we've seen over recent weeks what a massive miss he is, what a presence he is in that defence. You know, a controlling influence, a communicating influence, the real stable man at the back who keeps this back four together. Now, Big Leon, yes, I know does make mistakes from time to time. He's 36 years old. You know, he's not getting any younger, but he still looks one of our better players. And you all know me. I love Big Leon. I think he's brilliant. I really do. So, you know, realistically, if we were going into this game on Thursday and we had Leon Balogun and John Souttar available and we could start Souttar and Balogun, I would be so much more confident in our defence. And I think Jack Butland would be. And I think Jack Butland's recent form and his poor form has also, I mean, partly obviously is down to him, but it's also partly down to the fact that he's got two defenders in front of him who are an absolute bomb scare and who he can't rely on, who he's absolutely on eggshells all the time about. Does he come? Does he stay? Does he go? What does he do? Because they're so bad. And I think that's why he gets caught out so often. That and he's not playing well, obviously. So, proper bomb scare. Sterling is not a centre-back. He's a right-back. Sterling's probably our best right-back. I mean, James Tavernier is not the best right-back at the club because you have a right-back is there to defend. A right-back is there to be defensive and to hold the defence and be part of the defensive line. Tavernier is really bad at that side of the game. Yes, he's quite good going forward, but he's very bad at defending. Sterling's very good at defending, average at going forward. He's probably our best right back, all round right back, but he's not a centre back. You know, I don't think he's coping very well with it. He's not playing very well there. He's not he's not really not doing it. Now, one player who, you know, it is really mystifying is not getting a chance is 20-year-old Leon King. Now, Leon King was thrown into the Rangers side in the Champions League against Liverpool and was pretty much slaughtered. But, you know, when you're coming up against the likes of Mohamed Salah and Bobby Firmino, what do you expect? Mohamed Salah is one of the best players in world football. King looked like a rabbit caught in the headlights. He really did. He looked terrified. Now, King, I think, you know, had he been sort of gently introduced into the team, not thrown to the wolves, so as to speak, I think he would have done a lot better. Now, as that season progressed, near the end of the season, I remember him playing alongside John Souttar. I remember him playing alongside Connor Goldson, and I think, you know, he did well. He played well at the end of the season and didn't look out of place. Now, in terms of Leon King's record for Rangers, I mean, I think we forget the lad's still only 20 years old. He's still only young. He's a very young player. He's under contract until 2026. So he's still obviously got, you know, a little bit of time on his contract. He's made 37 appearances for Rangers. He has 1 assist. He's made 6 appearances for the Bees. And he's obviously made some appearances in the Youth League. Now, the one thing I'm going to say about King is, if I was Leon King, and, you know, I'm a centre-back, and I want to make a breakthrough in this game. And, you know, when I've been called on, I've given what I can. Yes, at the start, I looked awful because of, like, the circumstances I was put into against some of the best players in world football. But later on that season, when I played with alongside Goldson, alongside Souttar, I actually I looked decent. I looked okay for Scottish football. Now, King, for me, you know, why are we not looking at Leon King as a possible starter against Celtic? You know, why are we not putting him in there? He is a centre-back after all. Sterling is a right back. Robin Propper is a disaster. You know, why is it that Leon King is, again, like a lot of the young players in this team, when we have a gap in the team, not even considered, not even looked at? You know, when we were going through the spell where Hamza was not even ready yet and Danilo was injured, Zach Lovelace didn't get a look in. Never got a chance. Yet he's a centre forward. And yet he was a young lad who at 15 made his debut for Millwall in the Championship and has played English Championship football. Now, English Championship football is tougher than Scottish Premier League football. You look at some of the teams in that English Championship: Leeds United, Sheffield United, Sunderland, Portsmouth, Derby County, Blackburn Rovers. There's some pretty decent teams in that Championship. So, you know, this is a kid who has played from 15 Championship football, yet has come up to Scotland and isn't good enough to play in Rangers' first team. Again, absolutely baffling decision. You know, you look at others: Finlay Curtis, Cole McKinnon. There's a lot of players there that, you know, are missing. And I don't get it. I don't understand it. I genuinely don't. So, you know, why is Leon King so much out of options? If I was Leon King, I would be going to Philippe Clement at the end of this season, or I'd be going to Philippe Clement in January and saying, "Sell me, please, sell me," because I ain't going to get a chance here, am I? Realistically, you don't want me to play because you're putting in a right back ahead of me, and you're putting in a man who looks like a drunken pub footballer on a Sunday morning, who's hungover beyond belief, trying to play football in Robin Proper, and you're picking them ahead of me. I would be going to Clement and I'd be saying, "What have I done wrong, boss? Sell me. If you really don't like me that much, which you clearly don't, sell me." Because King is not getting, like all the young players in this squad, he's not getting a fair crack at the whip. Philippe Clement is a liar. He said at the start of his time at Rangers, "I will give young players an opportunity." Bollocks. You haven't done it, mate. You just haven't. And then when you've had the chance to do it, you've gone with Kieran Dowell or Robin Proper, centre-back. You know, you are genuinely an absolute liar. So I don't understand the logic about when you've got centre-backs. I mean, there's a story that I told on the podcast yesterday. Clinton Nsiala was good enough to be on the bench for AC Milan in a Champions League fixture at St James's Park against Newcastle United, yet isn't good enough to even be on a bench for Rangers against the likes of Hibs and St Johnstone and Dundee United and Dundee. Yet he was good enough for Milan to be on the bench against Newcastle in a Champions League game. I mean, go figure. Genuinely go figure. It just blows my mind. You know, it does blow my mind. And we have got a centre-back crisis. We've got a massive centre-back crisis. Without Suter and Balogun, our two best defenders, like I said, we've got a right-back playing centre-back, and we've got Robin Proper, who is quite frankly one of the worst centre-backs I have ever seen play the game. Really is. Lewis Mayo, keep hold of him. He's better than him. Gogic at St Mirren is better than Robin Proper. I mean, I'm not being funny. Fanny Craddock is better than flipping Robin Proper. You know, I honestly would go and I'd get Marvin Andrews back and put him in central defence. I'd get Big Ammo back. You know what? I'd even get John Gregg out of the executives box and put John Gregg at centre half ahead of Robin Proper. He'd probably play better, genuinely. So, I don't get this, not giving these younger players a chance, giving King a chance. You know, when you've got no centre-backs, you've literally got no choice, yet you're not prepared to go with this player. What message is it sending to the young players? Basically, it's saying, Philippe Clement is saying, "I will not use you. I will not play you. You might as well leave. We might as well shut down the academy because I'm not even going to touch it." That's what he's saying. That's what he's effectively saying. The guy is a fucking joke. He needs to go, and he needs to go now. Right, guys, let me know your thoughts and your comments on what we've covered in the video today. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. As always, on the way out, please smash the like, sub, comment, share. It's been a pleasure speaking to you as always. Remember always, we are the people.